or against a lot of what I think is happening. But
Yeah.
again, I agree. I think we're all in agreement that, like Ryan said, like it's what side of history do you want to choose to be on? You know, is there somebody probably in Hitler's life that could have said, well, he was a good man? Sure, but he was still a fucking evil person, and he
Yep.
did evil things. And as a world, you know, you had to make decisions on to where you were going to be. And I, I'm not trying to compare Hitler to these situations, but it's the example, like Danny said, there's always going to be justifications, right? I know I can think of several people off the top of my head who are gym owners in Minnesota who are going to justify their choice to stay affiliated, and they're going to have to constantly re-justify to themselves why they're making that decision. But that's their decision to make. That's part of the freedoms that we all have.
Yeah.
And I think that, I have no idea what even I don't even know what's going to happen with CrossFit. I know Danny.
Speaking of 30 years, I think it's been around 30 years since like the Rodney King beating, and like the LA riots. So
yeah,
there's just this going on right now. So it's like, oh, maybe it does repeat. I was just thinking about that when you were saying like, oh, Rodney King is about 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Will, I think you shared this, and I think Ryan, you shared this, and I looked it up after you guys all shared it. But like, if people want to get excited about Dave Castro, like, Dave Castro has a war mentality because that's been his life.
Yeah.
Dave Castro looks at things like war. He's going to look at things black and white. Now, do I believe he has the wherewithal to put people in positions to make choices on things that he knows aren't his strength? 100%. But that's also the guy that said because Martin Luther King Jr. didn't do CrossFit, we could never Martin Luther King Jr. hero WOD. Like, I'm not saying that.
I didn't even know that till like I saw Ryan post that.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's. I believe people can change, and then maybe some people think that's semantics, but I mean, there's always, it's when you own a corporation, you have a platform to have influence on, you're always going to live in a glass house. And I think that that's just, I mean, Travis and Jessica found out really, really hard that there's not much protection when you live in a glass house, when people can see you shit, so it's just a tough time. And I think that, I've seen I posted earlier on Facebook that I've seen some affiliate owners attacking other affiliate owners for being part of the problem by de-affiliating. It's like, if anything, I feel like we're seeing unity within people choosing to do all these things, but I know it's getting late.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, I appreciate you guys like for stepping on, and this last minute is just phone call. Like we definitely might have to do this again just to talk and like pretty much say how we feel, because like this is like really big to all of us. And I know for me personally, it's like conflicted a lot of feelings like me going forward, like with like CrossFit or just doing functional fitness or community fitness, whatever people want to call the gyms. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys for hopping on this, because this right here is big, and it creates that talk that people need to have, honestly, with themselves.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I would love to talk about where we are going to go from this point on, right? Because we talked a lot about the problem at hand and what has happened. And I would really love to talk about what we do moving forward. How do we maybe, make it easier for people of color to get into CrossFit? How do we make it so that the sport is more diverse, right? Like, these are the problems that we need to start discussing as well, because we can talk about the recent history and what's been happening, but until we make steps to actually make change, I don't think we need to do something.
Yeah, I can definitely I can hit everybody up for like a part 2, then we can definitely talk about like the change. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, and I think that, like you're saying, Ryan, I think that I don't even necessarily know if it's necessarily just a diversity problem. I think that it's it's for us who aren't, when something's not a piece of your life, you're just not, like I'm aware, I'm very aware that, I live out in the country and forest fires can happen, but I never think about forest fires, even though I could go start one right now, so it's like, I think that sometimes, when people talk about wanting more education, I think it's also asking ourselves, like, are we choosing education because we feel guilt, or are we choosing education because we know that we can do better? And I think that sometimes that's where I get worried, you know, being part of a privileged population. Like, I get worried that sometimes we're going to look too hard at seeking change out of our guilt, instead of seeking change out of just wanting to be better or to do better. So yeah, I think based off of the next coming week, what CrossFit decides to do or put out there, you know, or even if, man, I would love to see Dave Castro, you know, come on and talk about, you know, what he sees and what he's going to do. So I think that following all that stuff, I'd love to be part of a conversation. And everybody on this call knows that I love to talk. So, you know, I'm always up for conversations. So yeah. I just, you know, Will, I want to say to you that, you know, not as a black man, but as my friend and somebody I've come to know, like, you know, I always appreciate you. You're somebody who, when I think of the phrase, like, you know, cooler heads will prevail, you know, you just as an individual have always been that kind of person. So I want to say I appreciate you for being that kind of person. And so thank you for asking us to have this conversation, because I think we can all agree that more conversations like this are what are going to be the difference, is that even if we don't agree or see eye to eye, we can at least sit down and have a conversation and discuss why we don't see eye to eye, or why we have difference of opinions or difference of experience. So thanks for being willing to ask us to have this conversation.
Of course, man. Yeah, I definitely want to keep the conversation going on and on, because, I mean, we love change. That's why we do CrossFit. So, yeah, we definitely have to do the part 2 and talk about change. That'd be the next one.
Danny needs to go. Danny needs to wash his hair and go to bed, though. So.
Yeah, I need to go to bed, too. All right. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
I love all you guys as people. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yep. See you guys later.
See you.
We'll never get out there until we learn to break. We can all make a change, so I'm told, but I haven't